In most cities, policy is ephemeral, changing with every shift in the superintendency. While they are in office, superintendents tend to spit out reforms at a staggering rate, as if, knowing they are not long for this world, they decide to try everything while they have a shot at it. Payne, page 129. With the fluidity of CPS CEOs, mayors, and public opinions on education, it seems that as a reform begins to take hold, it is scrapped for a better idea, a new research-based practice, or new technology. These new resources are thrown at teachers for immediate implementation. Teachers have limited time in professional development, and therefore are often unfamiliar with new initiatives and curriculum they're forced to implement. This couples with a typical lack of teacher administration trust that is seen in urban schools. As a result, teachers grow to feel undersupported and underappreciated, both within their school setting and the community at large. Within these demoralized schools, teachers that are high-achieving or working hard are ridiculed by others in the school. Jean Agnon refers to this as the degraded professional culture of inner-city schools. A large problem with education are the bureaucracies put in place to govern schools. Urban school systems and the Federal Department for Education appear to be governed by the conservative theory of change. This is evident by policy directives that include incentives or sanctions. In his book Bad Teacher, Kumashiro examines this theory as related to education reform, stating that as long as educational improvement means higher test scores, three assumptions remain unchallenged. Standardized tests effectively measure all students' learning. Learning means doing well on those tests, and teaching means raising those test scores. Page 7. Instead of encouraging competition for higher test scores, such as Race to the Top and the Renaissance 2010 initiative, schools should be led by instructional leaders that encourage collaboration between teachers. This collaboration can have a tremendous impact, both regarding behavior and academic achievement. School-wide policies regarding behavior and discipline can have a profound effect on the school. Charles Payne examined this behavioral effect as well as a teacher belief of the system, writing, "There was apparently unanimous agreement that so long as all teachers were doing it, and kids faced the same rules and punishments in every classroom, it made a real difference. Classrooms and corridors were noticeably more quiet. Referrals to the office were reduced." Payne discusses schools where expectations are high, and so is support. The Consortium on Chicago School Research completed studies in 1999 on the correlation of academic press, support, and student achievement in the middle grades. Lisa Delpit examined this research more in depth in her book, Multiplication is for White People. The consortium defined high academic press as high expectations, high accountability, and explicitness conveyed to students. High social support was defined as strong relationships imbued with trust, safety, and confidence. Students made 4 times the yearly growth in math and 3 times in reading when both high academic press and high social supports were present than when neither were present. Under this model, Payne explains, teachers are seen as having a broad interest in children, in their character and in their future. There is a sense of mission, a moral compact between children and teachers. Children felt pressure to succeed. Whether or not they are going to take school seriously is a choice that has been made for them by adults. Page 99. Unfortunately, there are many narratives regarding urban education that simplify and overgeneralize our understanding of schools and school failure. Some of these narratives include the idea that all teachers are bad, and all we need to fix schools are competent, intelligent individuals in front of our children, and the rest will work itself out. There's also a fallacy that if children have 3 or 4 great teachers in a row, they will succeed at academic rates much higher than students that have a sequence of weak teachers, regardless of racial or economic background. This fallacy completely overvalues the effect that teachers in schools can have on students. This also places the blame solely on teachers, limiting the solution by narrowing the scope of the problem. Valerie Strauss, in her article, What If Finland's Great Teachers Taught in U.S. Schools, debunks many myths about the heightened policy focus on teacher quality. Strauss argues that teachers from Finland have more time to collaborate, more freedom with the curricula within their classrooms, and much less poverty. In the U.S. today, 23% of children live in poverty. The correlation in Finland is 5 times smaller. One way the U.S. can work to become as successful as Finland is with the element of teacher professional development. Berman and McLaughlin concluded that one-shot pre-implementation training was ineffective, that training should be concrete, teacher-driven, and extended, that teachers should be provided assistance in the classroom, that there should be regular project meetings, focus on practical problems, and that principals should participate in training teachers in project decision-making. As a future teacher of record in an AUSL turnaround, I find my role on both sides of the fence. AUSL works to create high-press, high social support schools, and the stress is placed on professional development and teacher collaboration. However, one must also understand the political nature of turnarounds and the funding that goes into them. We do not know the long-term effects that AUSL will have on the city of Chicago, even though short-term effects show twice the growth on standardized tests as a district as a whole. That, coupled with the large expansion with the most recent residency group at the request of Rahm Emanuel, certainly adds to the bigger, faster, sooner clamor that Payne discusses on page 175. Understanding the political background of AUSL is important, but as a turnaround teacher, my scope will be limited to my school. I feel that working to broaden that scope while creating a sense of partnership with a larger community will help me to find success in the coming years. One way to do this is through organizations like Educators for Excellence, who work to involve teachers directly in policy. It is through this lens that reform will take time, become more solidly research-based, and the views of the teaching profession will change.